All right, very important to have your team buying into what you do. They got to be drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. They've got to believe it. They got to practice it. They got to be on board. So let me take you back to, this is an interesting story, and I think you're going to appreciate this because it'll help you understand what I'm talking about. We had a prospect come in to do the FPC Discovery Day. And wife and husband team already have a fairly successful practice. Their problems were capacity and really margins. So worked really hard, collected a decent amount of money, weren't taking a lot home, yet they had a lot of staff. In fact, for what they were collecting, they had too many staff. So bottom line here, systems weren't in place. Efficiency of the team wasn't there, and part of that can be the owner's fault of not training the team, etc. But what had happened, what we saw happen, is the owners, they saw that what they were missing on the business side of things was what they needed to get a thriving practice. They bought in. They realized, you know what, we're not doing those things. We don't have organization. We're running around with our heads cut off, and we don't have packaging of our services. We're not lead flowing. We're not pre-educating. We're not doing these things that you've learned in FPC as part of business. It's part of any business, not just if you're in your health business. And so by the end of the day, here's what happened. Pretty interesting, and some of you are familiar with this. Their office manager was with them at this event, listening to the whole time because they want her feedback, which is cool, as long as we're all a team. And at the end of the day, they're ready to go. I'm working with some other clients that have already signed up. They're ready to go. And then I sit down with them and they say our biggest concern is rest of our team not buying in. Okay, that's a concern. But let's take a look at something first. If you, the owner, the doctor, believes that what you're moving forward with, you're passionate about it, you feel it's going to be the best thing for the business to grow and thrive, you feel it's going to be a better service, a better experience for your practice members, you're the one in control, not the staff. I want them to buy in, and I'm going to teach them benefits, and I want them to benefit, but if they choose, not for me, that's okay. There's the door. We've got to bring people on the team that are ready, and here's what happened. So when I talked to the office manager, well, what seems to be the concern? Well, if we take this back and we start making these changes, and there's bonus systems that people have to work toward, I can tell you right now, one of the best employees we have that's been loyal to us, she's going to leave. She already told me if she's got to do something outside of a 9 to 5 and interfere with her family and all this, she's out of there. So really what was being said is the office manager was throwing someone else under the bus because she didn't want to do anything different, and she was blaming it on someone else. And so I brought up the point. I said, well, she's not here. Perhaps we could get her on the phone and explain it to her a little bit. I think that would be the fair thing to do. Well, no, rest of the staff feels that way. And I just looked at her and I said, you're the one that feels that way. You're the one that's refusing to make changes, and you're telling the owners that if changes are made, you'll leave. And she said, well, there's something to be said about loyalty. And I said, so the kind of loyalty that is I'll be loyal as long as you do what I want. That's not loyalty, okay? That's conditional, like conditional love, right? I'll love you if, okay? So that's the kind of person that if that's their true attitude, you need to get them out as fast as possible. If they're looking for, I'm going to be a 9 to 5er, and that's not it. I'm not going to ever give any more than that, and I don't want any more work to do. Okay, so great, glad you came here. Thanks for serving us for the time you did. I'm looking for people that are passionate and people that don't just look at this as a job, but look at it as something they enjoy and want to be here and want to be part of our family or part of our team. So whenever that you are working with your team, it's first and foremost your responsibility to train properly, because right now you may have people that, I don't know if I buy into that. Well, let's first educate them. It's kind of like you pre-educate people before they come into your office, because if you just went and talked to them about, here's what we do, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And you've got to spend the time, educate them, help them understand that their current way of doing things probably isn't the best, and that if they change their lifestyle appropriately, and here's how you do it, they'll probably be pretty intrigued and maybe want to move that way. And if you do it right, as you found, they move and they change. So if your team doesn't seem to be buying in, first, take the responsibility on yourself and go, have I really educated them properly? Have they started changing their own lifestyle and seen the benefits? Do they truly understand the benefits that come with a team working and rowing the boat the same way? Have they ever experienced that? Because maybe our practice, we haven't been doing that. And so all they're hearing from me is, we're going to change things, which means more work for you and not necessarily any benefit. So first, let's take the blame. Let's assume that everyone's on board, and let's start taking the time to train properly, set time aside Monday mornings, whatever those days are, make certain they're getting on the modules and learning, getting the information, and you as the leader, make certain that you're living the lifestyle that you're preaching and help them live that lifestyle. Be a part of everything, be interested in who they are, outside the office even, and then let's help people work together so there's a benefit that everyone feels that if we do these things, if we change our model the way that you're saying, doctor, what you're saying is, first and foremost, we're going to be able to help more people. We're going to be able to serve them better, a better experience, better results. It'll be more affordable by the way we're doing things to allow them to have options, payment options and things like that. We'll be able to spend quality time with these people, and I will be able to generate additional revenue for me and my family. So this isn't just some 9-to-5 hourly job. I can actually make a career out of this, and I can see myself being here for a long time and maybe even getting into a higher position, develop a position, because you're allowing me to be creative. You're allowing us to bring ideas to you and all these things. If it's educated in that manner to them, now they should be, okay, I'm on board, let's make this work. Now, if they stay on board, it's because they are on board, they're passionate about it, and you, the leader, are following through. You're doing the things that you asked them to do. If you're asking them, we need to put a few extra hours in right now as we learn the stuff, but you're leaving at 5 o'clock and you want them to stay till 6, okay, that's a problem. You're going to have to show by leading. You're going to have to do these things. If you need them to come in on Saturday morning because you guys got to do some extra training or whatever, you've got to be a part of this, and you've got to have some fun with them too. Surprise them sometimes. Take them out and do a fun day of bowling, or go to Top Golf, hit some golf balls. Have just a fun day. Bring lunch in with them. Treat them like family. Have fun with it. So now you'll have people that are going to buy into this, and as long as you're working hard and they see that you're doing the things you need to do, you're in the modules, you're studying, you're taking action every day, they're going to follow. And those that don't, then you're going to have to let them go. But something else I hear, and I'm going to be clear about this, we get calls and texts and messages and letters, not all the time, but it happens, where the staff is really, really upset that their leader, that their doctor isn't doing it. They've asked us to do it. We want our practice to go the same place. We've met other doctors at the quarterly. We've seen where your practice went, Dr. Webb. We're excited about it. That's what we want. But our doctor is a lot of talk and no go. They're telling us to do things, but they're not changing anything. They're not studying. They're not really looking at the stats. They're not campaigning themselves. They're not marketing. They're not changing anything. And so you're wanting them to drink the Kool-Aid, and you're wanting them to change, but you haven't changed. So it's first and foremost starts with you. The buck starts with the CEO, which is you in most cases. If the practice is not doing what it needs to be do, start there and then work with that team. So that should give you some ideas, some measurement sticks to use on, are these people on board? How do I get them on board? And when they're not, you will be making a mistake. If someone you know is not on board and they're just not going to change, all they want is security. If you do not get rid of them, they're going to affect you. They're going to affect your stats, and they can often hijack the boat, right? They can mutiny on the bounty, if you will. They can get rest of the team into their little negative attitude and bring everyone down. So when that begins to happen, you got to take action pretty quick. Out they go. And then your stats will go up. Yeah, you guys might have to tighten your belts, and everything was going to have to work harder when that person's gone, because sometimes that place can't be filled before they're gone. But you're going to make a mistake. The longer you hold them in, that's a cancer that'll start spreading within your practice. So I want you to be careful about that. So you want a loyal staff, but loyalty means they're going to follow you, but they'll follow you only if you're being a leader. Do what you say you're going to do. When you preach it, live it, walk the talk.